The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of the staff and management of KLAY or those who advertise their products or services on this station.
This is Deborah Walker from Coldwell Banker Bain. I'm the real estate Sherpa in Puyallup.
I'm Perrin Walker with Fairway Independent Mortgage.
This program is a resource of information for all things related to real estate. We'll be talking with industry leaders about a variety of topics. It's important to keep in mind that every situation is unique, so please always seek the advice of a properly licensed professional before applying any of the information shared here. And in no case should anything we say be interpreted as legal advice.
Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS number 2289, is an equal housing lender. This is not an offer to enter into an agreement. Not all customers will qualify. Information, rates, and programs are subject to change without notice. All products are subject to credit and property approval. Perrin Walker, NMLS number 173529.
Okay, welcome, and you're listening to Lockin' It In with Deb and Per. Today, we have in the studio with us Leah Nitz. She's a home stager, and of course, we're talking about that lovely topic of home staging. Last week, we had Nick Baker
of Voy Home Services, and he spoke about, we discussed with him about the benefits and maintenance of carpet. After the show, we added a poll to our Facebook page at Lockin' It In to see your opinions of the carpet. You weighed in, and the results are at 80% in favor.
All right, Nick, you turned the tide toward carpet. All right, so this morning we have some interesting news. There was a hijacking near SeaTac Airport, and that was on the Ketron Island. And so, of course, this was a curiosity for me. I hadn't heard of Ketron Island. I don't know, have you heard of Ketron Island?
I had not.
I have heard of it, but I don't know exactly where it is.
Yeah. Well, apparently it's near Anderson Island, so that's southwest of Tacoma, and it's accessible by the Anderson Island Ferry, which only runs 4 times a day. It's a privately owned island.
It's in Pierce County, right?
Yes, Pierce County. It's, according to the 2010 census, it had a population of grand total 17. The island's about 221 acres. And yes, it's called Ketron Island, but it's originally named for William Kitson. Apparently his cartographers misspelled his name. So, interesting. There's no gas station, no stores, mail delivery, or even garbage pickup on the island. That's a curiosity. Most of the residents get there, of course, with their own boat. Now,
I guess the Pierce County Ferry goes there like 4 times a day.
Yeah, that's the Anderson Island Steilacoom Ferry. Yeah. So the island was purchased, the entire island was purchased in 1946 by J.C. Morris, an entrepreneur from Anchorage, and he had originally planned to put 200 homes on the island, including a retail center and some churches, a school. Apparently, though, the cost of installing sewer lines was going to be a major deal killer. More recently, his mansion was sold for in 2015 for $1.1 million. It's 5,300 square feet with 5 acres of land. So not a bad little piece of real estate. Yeah, so it's some place I might want to check out one of these days. Okay.
You always wanted to buy an island, didn't you, honey?
Yeah, I did. I always wanted to own my own little private island. Haven't quite been able to afford it yet, so.
I guess we're a long ways from that, aren't we?
Yeah. Give us another year or two, we'll be there. Yeah. All right, so we have some numbers on the market from July. So across the entire Northwest MLS, which is I believe mostly the state of Washington, there were 16,773 listings. And so that's July 31st. And that's the highest number since 2016. So that's encouraging. In King County, inventories doubled since March, and July ended with 5,116 listings, which is 1,233 listings more than the number of pending sales. So
It's getting better for buyers, isn't it?
yes, this is definitely good news for buyers. A lot more inventory to choose from there in King County.
Less competition.
Less competition, though sellers, they're still in a good position. Prices, they're still holding, and the sellers, they're having to give up a few, of the perks like multiple offers and waived contingency or inspection contingencies. Though Pierce County, we have a different story in Pierce County. Inventory dropped 3.4%, and we had 1,919 new listings in July.
1990.
1990, and there were 2012 sales. So we're still seeing a little bit of buyer competition. The number of multiple offers has gone down, though I'm seeing quite a bit of it below the median price range still.
So what does that have to do for Pierce County for the next few months?
Well, Pierce County and King County in general, some projections are that now is between now and the next 3 months is the best time for buyers because of the inventory, and after that, it's some think the inventory may start to wane until next March.
Yeah, the winter type.
Yeah,
Inventory.
and that would be totally typical, of course. So if you're thinking about, buying a home or listing a home, now is probably the time to get moving, unless, it will be a little more difficult as the winter
3
approaches.
months from now, yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting, though, to look at the numbers at the national level. Inflation is projected to hover around 2.4 in 2018, and in the last year, hourly wages have increased about 2.7%. So this is a little bit of a problem because home prices have gone up about 6%. And to me, this seems a little bit off balance. Now, I'm not an economist, but it makes sense. Maybe a little bit of a correction is ahead. We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
I'm going to get all my refinances in before then.
I don't think that's prone to the weather, babe.
I think so.
All right. Well, something fun I stumbled across this week. So, we all remember that funny sitcom family, the Bradys. Well, if you don't remember the Brady Bunch, you're probably 10 years old, and most likely you're not listening. I'm willing to bet most of us remember the screenshots of the Brady house, which touched our screen every week. Well, that home in Studio City was listed in July. The Bradys aren't moving, though. This house is just 2,500 square feet. Seems a bit small for the Bradys. It's a split-level home, and it has the garage was converted to a den. That's just like the Brady house. The home was purchased last in 1973 for a huge, ginormous sum of $61,000. And today it still boasts its disco-age decor. So, if your dream home includes a rock wall fireplace, wood panels, and floral wallpaper, you can buy it for a cool $1.885 million.
That's a bargain, huh?
What a bargain.
That seems like a lot of money for that house.
Yeah, you have to remodel the whole thing. So, yeah. Okay. So we were...
Last week we talked kind of a little bit about the mortgage loan process. We don't have very much time this week to talk about it. But
Yeah,
basically,
during the
there's
weather
6
storm.
phases of the process of getting a mortgage. The first phase is the mortgage pre-approval, where the borrower talks to the loan officer, and the loan officer gives the borrower an actual loan amount and sale price that they can afford, that the bank will approve. Second phase is house shopping with the realtor, the fun phase. The third phase is doing a complete mortgage loan application, including getting disclosures such as the loan estimate and other documents. The fourth phase is loan processing, which is more documentation. The fifth phase is underwriting, which means getting the final approval by an actual underwriter. And the sixth phase, which can be fun or it can be stressful, is the loan closing phase.
So that's a pretty simple description, and we are going to do a 6-part series where we're going to go over each step one at a time, and we'll probably bring that to you next week. Now, if you enjoy listening to the show, we would love it if you'd let us know. Chime in, like our Facebook page at Lockin' It In. And if you want to reach us in person, you can call 253-226-6454.
After the show.
After the show, please. Yes. All right. So we are in the studio with Leah Nitz, and she's a home stager, and we're going to hear all about how to make your home more beautiful for sale when we come back.
Perrin Walker of Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation provides national strength and hometown service for you when you purchase or refinance your dream home, investment property, or vacation home. Contact Perrin today at 253-226-6454 or apply online at perrin.walker@fairwaymc.com. Fairway, we serve people. Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS number 2289, is an equal housing lender. LO NMLS 226890. This is not an offer to enter into agreement. Not all customers will qualify.
I want to thank my mommy for loving me so much, for taking me out to the park, for reading me books, for taking
me to the doctor when I broke my foot in ballet rehearsal,
for leaving me alone when I wanted to be alone.
And now, as a grown-up, I'm thankful for being able to take care of you, my dear mom, for having the chance to take you to the park, for reading you those books we enjoy so much, for being able to take you to your therapies after you twisted your ankle, for understanding that sometimes you simply want to be alone.
Roles change without us noticing. And in your new role, we help you help. Visit aarp.org/caregiving to get practical health and wellness tips to provide even better care for your loved one. Remember, visit aarp.org/caregiving. AARP. We help you help. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Right now, nearly 30% of U.S. students aren't finishing high school. In many places, it's even higher than that. And fixing it is a responsibility that we all share. This is President Obama, and I urge everyone to take responsibility for encouraging the high school students in your communities, to support them, challenge them, and do whatever it takes to help them make it through.
Do your part by going to boostup.org and giving a student the boost that's needed to make it to graduation. A message from the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. You're listening to Lockin' It In with Deb and Pear. And we are in the studio with Leah Nitz. And Leah, you're a home stager. So, first of all, welcome to the show. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I have about 20 years of project management experience and started out in construction administration back in the day of Washington Mutual when Washington Mutual was around. We all kind of know what happened there. I was building bank branches, and I loved my job, loved my company. And things went sideways in 2008 with the market. And I ended up doing consultation and worked at Microsoft on contract, worked at City of Seattle, did a whole bunch of different contracting, learned a lot of different things, but took my project management more in an IT direction. And I have missed real estate, have missed a little bit of the construction world, and have always kind of thought about home staging, but was afraid to take that leap. It's a little bit scary to have your own business and not have some sort of safety net underneath you. But the time was right for me to go ahead and start my own business, and so I did. And once I started, I realized I live in Kitsap County, and looking at the homes in Kitsap County, there are a lot of really high-priced real estate on the water that have not been updated in years. And I found it a little bit tricky to try and figure out what I wanted to do to stage them. And not knowing the right answers and trying to research to find those answers, I was getting opinions, not answers, and realized that probably going and getting some sort of training and certification would be the best way to go about figuring out how to stage homes. So,
okay, so you got
So you had some
got
education.
a certification.
yeah, I got certified, and I went through the Home Staging Resource Certification, which is a 3-week training program, but there's so much jam-packed in there. I was doing 8 to 10 hours a day. It took me actually 4 weeks to get through it. There's a lot of homework, a lot of information in there, and I found it just amazing.
I can't believe how much knowledge you have now.
Oh,
I
I
really,
know, it's
I
amazing.
mean, it's just amazing. Speaking with you earlier this week. Yeah.
You did this all in 4 weeks?
Yeah, well, you know,
You knew it
you
all.
have
You knew it all
experience, too.
beforehand, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a lot of experience, just life experience, plus, you know, having had the construction background, that really makes a big difference. And when I was doing project management originally, I was doing the purchasing of furniture and fixtures, and I was on a design review board. And so I did have a lot of background experience before I got started. One of the things that the owner of HSR says is, you know, a lot of home stagers actually started out when they were like 5 years old, wanting to rearrange the furniture in their bedrooms.
I could relate to that.
Yeah, and continuing to rearrange furniture throughout
I
their
think
lives.
a lot of realtors started that way too.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's true with me, and actually my daughter does the same thing. So it just, once I did the classes, I realized how much I didn't know. And it really shocked me as well, but I couldn't get enough. You know, the more that I took the classes, the more I wanted to learn. So, and it's just fascinating to go out to different homes. I like to go to the open houses and take a look at what's there and what I'd like to change. And, you know, it's just, I could spend all day, every day, doing staging.
Wow.
So what exactly is the role of a home stager?
Well, in a nutshell, it's making your home a place where buyers aspire to live. So you don't want to put a lot of money into it. You don't want to do a full-on remodel. It's using limited funds, practical creativity, and extraordinary expertise to professionally prepare a home to sell so that it becomes infinitely more attractive to potential buyers and sells quickly for more money.
Okay. Okay, so basically it makes your house look pretty so when the buyer comes in, they see their house and not whoever's living there, right?
Yeah, it depersonalizes what the person has. It can be hard for the homeowner that owns the home currently. But if you take away the pictures and some of their personal items, it makes it a lot easier for people that are walking through to be able to picture their own belongings in the home and to be able to actually see the architecture that's there, the great aspects of the home.
Now, does it make a whole lot of difference? Like if my buyer goes in there and the home is staged or the home is not staged, how does that make a difference?
Well, if the home is staged,
It'll sell faster,
It's definitely going to sell faster. I do have...
For a higher amount, too, right?
For a higher amount. So over 97% of buyers' agents say that staging has at least some effect on the buyer's view of the home. And they say that 9 out of 10 buyers actually look online first. And it makes a huge difference in the photos that are posted online. I mean, this is more of a digital world these days.
Photos are very important. You got bad photos,
huge.
it's not good for your listing.
You know, you can say that there are some photos out there these days that are taken with, well, I would assume that it's
with
probably
your cell phone, yeah.
Cell phone.
Cell phone.
Don't necessarily represent the home well. So professional photos actually do make a big difference. And there's a case in point actually on a home that I just went and visited and gave some professional pointers to. And they did take new photos and post it. And the house looks 1,000 times better. The original photos made it look really, really dark. And I think that it probably detracted a lot of buyers because it looked like it wasn't a welcoming space. And now with the new photos up, I just saw it yesterday with the new photos, and it looks like a home that I think anybody would want to own. It's a gorgeous home.
Yeah, right. It'd be interesting to find out, like after doing that, you know, to talk to the agent and find out how many, if they suddenly got a lot more calls, or you know.
Yeah, I know that they will, but I don't know that I'll hear back from that agent because I didn't.
You gave them all the advice they needed, huh?
Yeah, I did. I gave them all the advice that they needed, so I don't know that I'll hear back, unfortunately. So almost a third, 29% of sellers' agents believe the staging increased the value of the home 6 to 20%. So this is statistics from the National Association of Realtors. This is the newest from 2017. So staging.
Excellent.
Staging is kind of a newer thing. Not all realtors believe in it. It is born a little bit out of HGTV. And then when the market crashed in 2008 and homes were not selling as much, a lot more people were going to staging. And it really does make a big difference. It does hide some of the flaws in the home. So I would say that staging a home is really, really important. If you want to be able to get more money for your home and be able to sell it faster, be able to draw in more, it's great for marketing. It's the way to go.
How much more money can you get by staging your home on say, a $300,000 home? About $20,000 or?
Yes.
I mean, typically, not every time, obviously, but typically.
Probably depends on the home.
Yeah. So let me look at my stats because there's new stats on that are actually higher than what I had prior on that.
Really?
Yeah, it seems to be, it increases every time they take
a new survey.
It increases. So it's just amazing.
Is that because there's more data? More people staging, so there's more examples?
No, it's just getting better and better.
I think it's getting better and better. I think that there are more people that are trained, so the staging is getting better. I think that more people are looking for homes that are staged. I think more people are looking online, and that makes a big difference. So in a 2018 HSR survey of over 4,200 homes, 85% of the staged homes sold for 6 to 25% more than unstaged homes, which is huge. Okay.
Yeah, that's so 25% potentially.
Does that mean that you need to stage obviously you need to stage $1 million home, but what about a $200,000 home?
There are realtors that believe that if it's under $500,000, it's not worth it, but it really, any priced home can benefit from staging. It'll help it sell faster, and it's going to help it sell for a little bit more. So in a lot of cases, it'll cover the cost of the realtor, and it'll cover the cost of staging for sure.
How much is a realtor? About 6-7% of the sale price?
Deborah? Yeah, 6% is pretty standard.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money.
Yeah. But, and it does make a difference sometimes, even in a really small house. I've seen kitchens and they have an eating area, and you can't imagine getting any kind of a table in there. But I've been into homes and I can tell it was staged, and you can see there's a table there, and it works. Obviously not the table they used, but it gives you a sense of how the space does work. You get a better feel for the space.
Yeah, and there are different things that we can do when we walk into as stagers. We look for all sorts of things. If the cabinetry is older and hasn't been updated, we can recommend painting it, painting it out white and putting new bling on it to open it. That can make a huge difference just in the look itself. It can make it look refreshed. Putting in the peel and stick floor tiles can make a big difference in the flooring, and it's not real expensive to do either one of those, but it can add a lot of value just in doing those two things. And that's not adding just pillows, so that's not things that a lot of people think of for staging, but it is something that we actually look for.
So you look at the whole house and the exterior and everything.
We do. We look at the exterior, we start at the exterior and walk through the inside.
Okay, so I have just a really quick question. We're getting low on time in this segment, but how many seconds does it take for that first impression when the buyer walks in? I'm assuming there's only so much time, or when they go up to the front door. So what are the stats on that?
So I believe that information is like 10 seconds to view it and just decide whether or not they actually want to even walk in. I mean, when you drive up to a home, you know whether or not you even are interested just by viewing the outside. If it looks like a dump, you probably don't want to look at the inside. It makes a difference.
Yes, definitely. But it may not be a dump, but it may just be an ordinary, boring house. Yes, and we will continue our conversation with Leah Nitz when we come back.
Walker of Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation provides national strength and hometown service for you when you purchase or refinance your dream home, investment property, or vacation home. Contact Perrin today at 253-226-6454 or apply online at perrin.walker@fairwaymc.com. Fairway, we serve people. Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS number 2289 is an equal housing lender. LO NMLS 226890. This is not an offer to enter into agreement. Not all customers will qualify.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to. Nope. I'm sure you've got a perfectly good excuse. Kids, work. I get it. You're busy. So what better time than now? Let's begin. Raise one finger if you're a man. Ladies, none yet. Oh, count in your head if you're driving. Now, 3 more fingers for everyone over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40, 1 more if you're not physically active, another finger if anyone in your family has type 2 diabetes, another if you've got high blood pressure. If you're overweight, raise another finger, 2 if you're very overweight, and 3 if you're really overweight. You've just taken the world's first audio prediabetes test. And if you're holding up 5 or more fingers, visit doihaveprediabetes.org or talk to your doctor. There's no excuse because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Dear John, I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is serious, and I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to when you checked on me? I don't want to leave, but remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range today. Find out how at heart.org/blood pressure. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Okay, welcome back. You're listening to Lockin' It In with Deb and Per, and we are talking to Leah Nitz, and we're talking about home staging. So, Leah, tell us, how does this work? So you hire the realtor first, the home stager works. How does this happen?
So I prefer that the home sellers, be 100% sure that they're ready to sell their home. And generally, a good indication for me is that they've hired their realtor. So that's really key. And I can either be hired by the realtor or by the home seller, either way. But I definitely want to be working directly with the home seller. I want to get their buy off. And staging can go two different ways. It can either be vacant home staging, where there's just nothing left in the home. The homeowner has already completely moved out with all of their belongings, or they can still be living there and have all of their own belongings in the home still. So it depends on which one it is on how we tackle that. Either way, I would sit down and discuss with the homeowner exactly what their expectations and goals are, and I would be talking with the realtor as well. Especially the realtor, I would talk with more on the vacant, because the realtor is usually more involved on vacant home staging. For owner occupied, the homeowner is extremely involved. They're still living in the space, and we want to use the items that they own and love. I don't want to move things around in a way that they're not going to like and that they're going to want to undo, because that's not.
They still have to live there.
Yeah, they still have to live there, and it's not going to be worth it for anybody if they're going to be moving everything back around if I make changes. So I sit down and have a long conversation with them about exactly what it is they want and what they expect for results. And then we do a walkthrough. I do a walkthrough first to take inventory of exactly what belongings they have in the home. And then we come back and I ask the homeowner to walk through with me, both homeowners if there are two. And we start at the outside and take
So
a
you're
look.
like walking up like you're a buyer.
Yeah, like a buyer. And if they need to have mulch added because it just looks like it's dirt in the front yard and maybe some weeds, and it's not looking as pretty as it could, maybe add some plants for a pop of color. There are cases where the neighbor's yard is, you want to hide it a little bit because it's not as appealing
Put
to
a fence
buyers.
up.
So if you have a chain link fence, even, you can use some of those bamboo screens and use zip ties to hide a little bit. So that
I want you to stage my house even though I'm not selling it.
So that's where actually in the title of my company, the redesign part comes in. So a lot of people, after they have their home staged and they sell it, then they decide that they like the look of staging and they want that same look in their new home. And so I do actually offer that service as well.
Excellent. I did not know that, but
Yes.
you're welcome to come over.
Okay.
I was just wondering, though, if someone has their home staged and then decides, well, it's kind of nice this way. Maybe I don't want to move.
That does actually happen. And because of that, I don't accept the cost out of the closing costs to be paid. So
You have to be paid up front.
I need to be paid up front because there are some people that are so wowed by the staging that they decide that they want to stay there.
I see that on HGTV too.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. And then there are other options that I can offer as well, because I do get discounts at a lot of different great stores like Pottery Barn and Pier 1.
So that's where you get the staging materials.
So for some of it, yes. And if the homeowners are wanting to get new furniture for the new home that they're going to be moving into, I can help them pick out some new items, and we can use that for the staging of their old home until their old home sells, and then they can take it with them into their new home. So there's a lot of different options that we can offer for the staging.
So how would they get the furniture in there if they didn't have any?
So if they didn't have any,
Or they
if
just
it's
had
a
old
vacant home, then I go ahead and provide. I use rental furniture for the big pieces.
Where do you get the rental furniture? Like Buddies?
So it depends. I live in Kitsap County, and so I use Aaron's and Rent-A-Center. And in Tacoma, I don't have an agreement with Buddies as of yet, but I do need to go and check them out. I just expanded my service area to Tacoma, so I need to go and check them out and have a conversation with them. I do try and see if I can get the best deal for my customers. and I don't have any kind of markup on the rentals. So
Which
I
is
have
amazing.
Yeah, so I have it set up so that either the customers can go in and sign the contract, or I can do it so it's seamless. Either way, it's going to be the same cost for the rentals. The accessories are mine, though, and there's a rental fee on that as well. And then there's a cost for my time, too.
Excellent.
All right. So when you're staging a home, I wonder, does it have any effect on the appraisal?
Yes, it actually does help in a lot of cases with the appraisal. I mean, if you can consider going into a home that, especially if it's owner occupied and it's not necessarily
it's too cluttered.
Yeah, if it's too cluttered, I don't want to use derogatory terms, but if it's too cluttered and it's really hard
Too
to be
personalized.
able to see, yeah, and you really can't see the architecture, and maybe there are some smells, like we haven't talked about that yet, but if there are some
Carpet
smells
smells.
and the carpet maybe hasn't been cleaned, or
But that
there's
really, it doesn't
things-
affect value so much as just
It
perception.
does, because the
It's
appraiser will
perception, yeah.
compare the house to the comparables of a nicer house. Never to a nicer house, just to the same quality house. So if the house looks like it's a higher quality house, then the
Right, but
appraiser
it's
can
just
compare
perception. It's not
It
real.
is perception. That's what it is. It's the perception of the appraiser.
Yeah, so with staging, you can improve the value by perception. So one of the other things that we do recommend with staging is either having, I've actually seen a lot of cases lately where the carpet needs to be, it's got a lot of wrinkles in it.
Oh, it needs to be
And so
stretched.
it
Like
needs
stretched?
to be re-stretched, and a lot of people don't know that carpet can be re-stretched.
Nowadays, it can't be like it used to be, but it still can be stretched a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. And so there's also, I don't know about Tacoma, but I know in the Kitsap area, there's actually a carpet company that has remnants so that you can get really good value. Yeah.
It would be worth going to Kitsap for that.
Yeah. For carpet that it's nice looking carpet for not a lot of money, and they sell pad, and they have the installers and everything. So it doesn't cost a lot, especially if you've got really bad stained carpet. If cleaning isn't going to necessarily get out the stains or the smell, I recommend that they go in and just replace it altogether, because it's not going to be that much money. So there's a lot of little things that they can do to help with that. And then when the appraiser comes in, if there's new carpet in there, or if it's been restretched, or if the stains are gone because it's been cleaned, that is going to make a difference. And if there's a lot less clutter, less furniture in there, so they can actually see what's in there.
I think also it gives the illusion of that you've better cared for it, and
Yes.
so you have the sense that it's in better shape,
Yeah.
whether it is or not. I think
Right.
it's really important, because even if you're not consciously thinking of it, that perception will be there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and another item that we always recommend too is to have fresh paint, which, if you've got old chip paint, or if it's marked up, that it does make a difference. It makes it feel worn. It doesn't
Now,
feel as
do you
clean.
recommend just white paint or colored, a different color?
It kind of depends on the home and how much light it has in it. The gray is kind of light gray is pretty common right now. But white is actually, it's very tricky to decorate with white, but it actually is a trend right now.
Okay.
You
I've
have
always
to-
kind of perceived it as like lacking personality, so
I
to speak.
know, I
Because
know.
it's just like a stock color.
It is. So you have to be really careful. You have to make sure that you've got a lot of good decorations going on, or it's going to be really, really bland and feel too sterile. So you got to make sure that you've got a lot of art on the walls. You've got a lot of color in your decorations. You've got some greenery in there. The throw pillows and throw blankets make a big difference as well, because that brings in a lot of color. We recommend that you go with more of a single colored couch, so that you can add a lot of color through the pillows, and you can change that throughout the year. So if you want to go with like the Pantone color of the year with your throws, and with your pillows, then you can change that out every year without it being too expensive.
Is there a difference between summertime staging and wintertime staging?
A lot of people like to stage for the holidays. So the wintertime obviously has a lot more holidays. We actually do offer a service to be able to go in and do holiday staging. So if somebody wants, if they're going to have a big holiday party and they want us to come in and decorate for that holiday party, we can do that as well. So it's not even necessarily to sell the home, but it's staging just for a party, to put up the greenery and lights and and to get that going. So yes.
What about on the exterior of the home?
On the exterior,
it's probably the same year round, isn't it?
Well,
except for when the sun.
In the wintertime, there's no sun, so it's kind of dark most of the day. It's not gonna.
You're not gonna be putting in the same plants. You know, I wouldn't be putting in as many plants, but I would still do the mulch because that still is going to make it look a lot nicer. You can still do the painting in the front if the deck needs to be painted. You can still put out
anti-skid.
Yeah, you can still put out the anti-skid if you've got some sort of, especially the wooden stairs. Those can get really, really slick during the winter, so you want to make sure that you've got anti-skid on those. There are some plants, though, that are great to put in planters for the winter. Kale actually adds a lot of color, and that's fun for the winter. So, but you want to make sure that there's somebody there to water it. If you've got plants that you're putting outside, you don't want to have dead plants out front when you're trying to sell your home.
You don't want to ever have dead plants in front of your home.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Oh, so I have one question I've always wondered when I went and toured homes is the temperature. You would think you'd want to keep it at some sort of like a neutral temperature, not cold or warm.
I personally keep my house at right around 70 degrees. And so I think that that's probably a good point to try and keep it at. We recommend that people keep on the electricity, the water, and the heat when they're selling their home, even if it's vacant. You don't want to turn those things off. You need to keep those on.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have comments on this or other topics, you can reach us on our Facebook page at Lockin' It In. If you wish to contact us directly, you can call 253-226-6494, and we really do
6454.
6454. And we really do want to hear from you, and we want your input, topics, suggestions, or if you want to be a guest, please let us know. And we're talking to Leah Nitz in the studio, and we're talking about home staging.
Walker of Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation provides national strength and hometown service for you when you purchase or refinance your dream home, investment property, or vacation home. Contact Perrin today at 253-226-6454 or apply online at perrin.walker@fairwaymc.com. Fairway, we serve people. Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS number 2289 is an equal housing lender. LO NMLS 226890. This is not an offer to enter into agreement. Not all customers will qualify.
Sergeant Jabari Wright.
In the Army, I was trained as a combat lifesaver. In 2012, had an accident and became paralyzed. I was used to working in healthcare and how am I supposed to help people, and I'm in a wheelchair now. It really severely impacted my confidence.
Jim Arndt, PAVE Program, Paralyzed Veterans of America.
PAVE helps veterans rebuild lives with valuable careers. We assess the skills, build the resumes, and help with the interviewing skills to be able to find a career that our veterans are looking for.
PVA took what I was doing in the military and helped me translate that to meaningful employment in the civilian sector. Hooking up with them helped to empower me.
PAVE really concentrates on the one-on-one relationships. Unlike other programs that measure success by placements alone, PAVE places greater emphasis on quality jobs and continued support, our Partner for Life guarantee.
To learn more, visit pva.org. A public service message from Paralyzed Veterans of America.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's so loving. She's so comforting. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
Toast, Instagram star, and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Start yours today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. You're listening to Lockin' It In with Deb and Pear. And we are in the studio with Leah Nitz, and she's a home stager, and we're having a really fun conversation, really creative today. So now, do you have any stories? You told us a story earlier about a home where it made a difference. Is that did you have another example?
Yeah, there's always stories about
Yeah.
home staging. There are a few. I don't want to be too specific, but you always want to talk to your home stager or your realtor before you make decisions on carpet or painting color choices.
People never do that, do
Yes,
they?
and people generally do
They
not
just
do
put it
that.
in the
They
cheapest
put it
way
in,
possible,
and it's always wrong.
Even if it's cheap, color is a big thing. So there's one house that is super cute out there that the owner decided to go with. It's almost a chocolate brown carpet, and then she chose a kind of a dark sky blue color wall for the interior.
That does not match.
And the two don't go together, and it feels just really dark on the inside. But the layout, it's kind of an open concept rambler, and it's really cute. There's a lot that could be done with it, and I think it's deterring a lot of buyers. I think that there would be a lot more people interested in it if the right color choices had been made, and I don't think the cost would have been any different. So I think it's kind of unfortunate. And there's another one where I had a realtor ask that I come in and do the staging to hide any of the flaws. And this is an older home that I don't think it had been painted in more than 20 years. And so I recommended that it
On the
be
exterior or the
painted.
interior?
I think both, but the interior was more the issue that I was trying to point out in certain areas. And apparently it was my job to cover that up with staging, which, you
can only do so much.
Yeah, exactly. There's only so much you can do. And I was given an extremely low budget that...
What is a typical
But you can put
budget?
a throw rug over that other rug, probably, right?
Well, there wasn't even a rug. A lot of it was hardwood. So, and the hardwoods weren't bad. It was more the walls that were more of a problem.
What is a typical budget for home staging?
So for
About 1%, 1.5%.
Yes, it depends on the home. So for an average home, middle class, I would say, usually they say rule of thumb is 1 to 3%. But what I'm finding in this area, 1% is usually 1 to 1.5 is usually what it takes. If it's going to be on the water and higher end, you might want to go for the 3% and do the bespoke furniture. Go for things that people aren't going to find elsewhere. They're not going to be able to go to Pottery Barn and find that furniture. You know, you want to find things that are a little bit more special. And these are things that, again, the homeowner would be able to take with them other places if they wanted to, or we can go and get rental furniture from somewhere special, but that's going to cost a lot more than going to Aaron's or Renaissance.
How much? What is the return on that? 1 to 3%.
That the newer statistics are showing 6 to 25%.
25% would be a great return.
Yeah. So, you know, there's no guarantee. I can't go into a home and say it's going to sell in 1 week and you're going to get 25% back.
There's a lot of other factors involved
here.
here.
There's a lot of other factors, and so what we say is there's 3 essential keys for selling your home, and the first one, of course, is going to be marketing on the inside, which is staging. So if you've got it staged well, again, we go back to saying that almost everybody is looking online. So if you've got the good staging, you've got the good photographs, people are going to be drawn to looking at your house. If you don't have staging and the photographs are not, don't represent well, there's a lot of people that are going to skip, not even coming into your house to take a look at it.
Or at least they'll make it like at the bottom of the list, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if you're not drawing in people to take a look at it, you're not going to sell it. Number 2 is marketing to the public. So you want to make sure that your realtor is marketing it well, which, you know, the realtors know how to do that. If you've got the right realtor, you're going to not have a problem with that. And then number 3 is the pricing it right. And again, that's the realtor that you're working with. You want to make sure that you're comfortable with the realtor, but you got to listen to your realtor on the pricing.
This is very, very important.
Yeah, you don't want to go with too high of a price, because I see over and over again that the houses that are too high priced are sitting there for months on end, and then they're lowered. It's at least 1% per month.
Ultimately, they end up selling it for so much less.
Yes.
So much less.
Yes. So if they're priced right and staged, they're going to sell so fast, it's going to make your head spin. And you'll probably be in a multiple offer situation. So you want to go with those 3 keys.
So speaking of multiple offers, what if right now we're kind of in a multiple offer sort of market. So if you have an environment like it was, where you go, you list a house on Thursday and it's sold by Saturday, is there really any point to doing the staging in that kind of environment?
If it's a vacant house and there's no staging to it, it's probably going to sell for less, even with multiple offers. So, you know, if it's going to feel more warm and cozy and have the staging in there, it's going to feel like it's more of a value.
And so the staging would probably not even cost very much, because if you have to rent something, it's only like a couple days.
Well, the rentals are for a full month.
Okay.
Because we have to do a full month rental.
Contract.
Yeah, the contract is for a full month. And so there are actually, that's a big question that comes
I think
back.
there's a rent-to-own store that does week to week.
Right. But our agreements are for a full month. And so a lot of people come back and say, well, can we get a discount because it sold in 3 days? Well, that's great that it sold in 3 days. It means we did our job right, right?
Yes.
So it's still for a full month, unfortunately. That's what our contract is for. We do actually do contracts, the stagers do, and the contract states for a full month. And we do recommend that you keep the staging in there for the appraisal, you know, all the way through
just in
the
case
process.
something happens.
Yes.
Yeah, just because it's a pending sale, you know, God forbid something happened. I actually had
60% of those don't go through, or only 60% close. Yes.
Yeah, I had one where I was going to have to go out and stage because it was about to sell, and the day before the guy went to sign the papers, he had a heart attack and passed away.
Oh no.
I know. And so it was having to go back on the market. You just never know. I mean, he was for sure going to buy this home. But you just never know.
What about sellers, I mean, that just refuse to stage? What is there something they can do to help them sell their home?
If they refuse to stage, I can still go in and do a consultation and give them recommendations. And even if they take 50% of the recommendations, it's going to help. I can't force them to stage.
Obviously not.
But the consultation, I think, would be invaluable for anyone who's thinking about selling their home.
Yeah, I think it does help. It doesn't cost very much. We can go in and we end up walking through. It takes about 2 hours, make a lot of different recommendations, and we leave with a full staging plan in the hands of the homeowner. So they can then do whatever they want to do on their own, or they can choose, if they're feeling overwhelmed, if they want to hire us to go ahead and come back and do the staging with them, we can do that. But it gives them ideas of what can be done.
2 quick questions before we go off the air real soon. Staging an open house and staging a model home.
I try to stage so that it looks like a model home, but staging a model home is done differently. We do it per square foot instead of by the cost of the rentals and accessories, and by time. So the fee structure is set up differently, but the look should end up being nearly the same.
So I think it's more practical, though, in our discussion is open houses. So do you do something different with the open house than you normally would?
No, because really the staging is for the pictures and for the open house. I mean, there are little tips and tricks that I don't want to give them all away, but
absolutely.
One example is that we will take towels and put them in the laundry room, and we will fold dryer sheets into those towels to give it that fresh, clean scent in the laundry room. But there's a lot of different tips and tricks that we use to draw people in and to make things look or smell better in the home.
Okay. So now, if you're staging one of my listings, do you have a separate plan that you would give me for when I have an open house to do something different, or is that?
I would have you call me and let me know that you're having an open house, and I would come in and make sure that everything is prepped.
Great. Thank you very much. We've been speaking with Leah Nitz and on Locking It In with Deb and Pear. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.